So we got this really cool artsy looking chair, and first thing I'm gonna do is import that onto an image plane so we can. All right, cabling server, and let's cancel. Let's connect online. All right, let's see if I can find it. All right, but I know from memory that that particular chair that we're trying to create, from the side view it looks like that, and then from the front view it has this really weird shape. I think it kind of goes up like that and then it curves. So we're going to create, and it goes like that as well. So what I'm going to use is just a basic polygon cube, and my proportions are probably off, so let me try to draw it again. Something like that. And let's use this particular sketch for our reference. Okay, so I'm going to create a polygon plane, and I'll create this section here. So with this particular chair, I'm only going to create one side of it first. And go to vertex. Let's move this guy over. And I'm going to go to mesh mesh tools, insert edge loop. I'm going to add an edge loop. Let's go to the option box, reset that tool. I'm going to add an edge loop here. I'll select this edge, and I think I want to get the curve of the chair first. So with that shape selected, I'm going to press E, hold J, and drag it like that so it's completely flat. Okay, now let's go back to our insert edge loop. I'll add an edge loop right there in the center. Let me go to my perspective so you can see exactly where I put that edge loop. And in my side view, I'm going to move that edge loop to match the shape of my object from the side perspective. I'll select these bottom vertices, drag it here. I know it rounds off a little bit more, so I'll do that. And I'm going to select these bottom edges here, Control E, press W, I'll move it down like this. If I press G, that's a repeat tool for extrude. This is the part where your bum is. I'll press G, I'll press W, I'll move this up, and I'm going to stop right about there. Alright, so let's go to vertex mode. I'll highlight that section here and I'll move it over. So I'll select these three, and then I'll select these two, and I'll drag it over. This particular section right here, that edge is where we're going to get that round section. So let's go back to object mode. I'm going to move this guy over to the left. I press E and hold J, and kind of move it right there. So let's get the vertices to match up with that particular illustration. And if I press the down arrow on my keyboard, it actually selects the next vertex, so I don't always have to manually select it. So in my front view, if I press the down arrow, it selects it. The only reason why I'm not zooming in and out is because my grease pencil will stay the exact same proportions, and that will happen, you see. So the grease pencil will not, like, see, I messed it up. I think I want to add another edge loop right across this top face. So edit mesh, insert, mesh tools, insert edge loop. I'll put one right there. Okay. Now we want the bottom part of this to kind of curve as well, so I'll select that face and I'll move it down like that. If I press 3, you can see that shape. Alright. I think I might want to add another edge loop. Let's add 1, 2. So if I press 1, you can see exactly where it's at. So I'm adding more geometry to get a better curve. I think I want to add another edge loop right here. Press W. I'll move it down like that, and I'll move it back. Alright, so things start to get a little bit more challenging when you add more edge loops, but I think this is a low amount that we're really not going to get too crazy with it. Let's go to object mode, and I'll select that vertex and move it here. I'll select this vertex, I'll move it there, that one here. So now we'll select the edges of this object. 1, 2, 3. I go back to my front view. I'll press Control E. I'll press W, and I'll move this guy straight up like that. I'll press R. I'll scale it flat. And this is what we get. Now we obviously want that to curve backwards. Let's add another edge loop on this geometry. So mesh tools, insert edge loop. I'll put one right there. I'll press W and we'll move it back like that. Okay. Now I'll go back to my front view and go to vertex mode. I'll highlight these vertices. I'll move them over so that they kind of match the image. I'll select those vertices, and what I'm doing right now is what we call edge flow, getting the width of these control vertex points to look really nice in terms of the way they flow through the geometry. Okay, I'll select that vertex, I'll move it down. Again, this is the area where the person would sit. All right. I'll select that vertex. Let's go back into our perspective view. Now, let's actually make a top view. This is probably good for us to go to. And trying to get things to look like a really nice flowy shape, like a pattern. And then this section here is going to be the top part of our chair. Okay, let's go here. And I think that we need to move these vertices down as well. So these two, I'm moving down, lower. Like these guys, I'm moving down a little bit lower. And maybe if I go into my side view, it'd help me out. So I'll select this, press E, I'll hold J, and as you can see, I'm always going back and forth. I'm not really happy with the shape until you know, it forms to what I'm looking for. See? Kind of got a little bit off with the shape. I don't have a reference image, so it's that much harder but I think that this is okay. So this is going to be the lowest point of the chair. So when I press 3, you can see how it starts to curve. Press 1. Let's go back to object mode. Press E. Let me zoom out a little bit. And let's go back into the perspective mode. Now I think that chair also has it's kind of concave right here in the back, but we'll worry about that later. I think it's time to start to form the top part of the chair. So let's go to the bottom part. Let's go to edge. I'll select those 3 edges here. Press Control E. Move it up. I'll scale it down. I'll press G one more time. I'll move it up, and I'll scale it down like that. Let's go to object mode. Let's go to our front view. Press E, I'll hold J, and move it like that. And almost there, at least with the top part of the chair. Let's go to vertex. Select these vertices. Move them over. So yeah, when it comes to like modeling shapes that are really hard, I think it's really good to have just a firm foundation of just moving vertices to the shape that you want them to be. Take that vertex, move it over. If I press 3, you can see how it's starting to round off. Now this edge seems really flat, so I'll take those 2 vertices and move them up. Press 1 and maybe move them forward. It's always good to check in all of your views while you're modeling. I want this to round off a little more. I want this edge flow to curve this way. Do that. And I think I need to rotate these guys that way a little bit. Down, forward. The top part, rotate these guys here. That part, rotate. Okay. So now we have this. We're going to go to object mode. I'll press W, I'll hold D, and I'll hold V, and I'll snap it right to the center there. Alright. It's really important that the middle vertices are all aligned, so I'm going to highlight all the vertices here. Press R, hold J, and snap it flat like that. Let's go to object mode. And I'm going to press Control D, and I'll change the scale X. Right now it's at 1.33. I'm just going to put a negative right in front of there. Alright, I'll hold Shift, select that one there, mesh, combine, and now when we press 3, this is our chair. Now there's still quite a bit of work that we need to do on here. If we press 1 and we go to, let's say, face, I can highlight those 4 faces. Press B, which is soft selection, and I'll move it over and down. See. If I press and hold B, it increases the influence, and now it's going to move much more of that geometry. So hold B, and it will influence just that section right there. So maybe we just want that vertex to go down a little more. these vertices here. I'm trying to find like a way that I could make this look as though someone was sitting in here on it. It's like this, and move it down, forward. So this center line is the middle of this. I could select like parallel edges and scale them both at the same time. Go to my side view. And again, it's just a lot of tweaking. Let me press B to turn off my soft selection. Let's move this down. So I'm trying to get this like really curved shape. And when I'm happy with this, I'll extrude it. Let's go to the outside edges of this shape. I'm going to parallel edges and making it round. It's like this one and that one. Making it a bit more round. It's like these two. It's like those two. Curving it much more than what it is now. Like these guys, bring it down, and spacebar. So this is what we have. Happy with the shape. Of course, we can tweak like vertices all day long to make it look the way we want it to. But yeah, that's that. Right. Again, if I press 3, it's going to, flatten out like that. If you're a perfectionist, then you're going to work on this like all day long and maybe not ever get what you want. I would hope that you would get what you want if you're working on it all day long. But I think that shape looks pretty good. So now it's thin, and the next thing that we need to do is make it thicker. So press Control E. Add thickness to that chair, and we press. Let's make this vertex. Let's bring that vertex down so it rounds off a little bit more. I'll press 3. All right. Now what you're going to notice is that I did something wrong in the beginning. Let's press 1. I'm going to press Z to undo because I forgot to merge the center of these guys. So select those vertices right down the center, edit mesh, merge, and now when I press 3, it's right at the seam. And let's go press Control E, keep faces together off. Oops, no, keep faces together on, and move it like that. And now when we press 3, we don't have that really weird seam down the center. So that's that RT chair. And then in the next tutorial, I'll teach you how to create the legs, which is pretty much using an EP curve and getting it to follow this same shape. But with the time remaining, might as well go ahead and create the first part of that, which is the Create EP Curve tool option box. Change it to 3 cubic, and I'll click here, here, there, here. Let's return. So this is the shape. So modify center pivot. This, and I'll go to Control Vertex, and I'm going to slowly, I'll just delete that vertex there. select the bottom two vertices and scale them flat so that they're at the same height. And I'm trying to get these vertex points to be parallel to each other. So if you have any extra vertex points that aren't parallel, then just go ahead and delete them. And let me turn off the grease pencil. So we get this shape, right? And curve it like that. Now the next shape I want to get is from the side view. So just go to Create, Curve, EP Curve. I'll go into my perspective view. I'll hold C and snap it to the bottom of that curve. Go to my side view and I'll start to do this, do that, do that, this, and I'll bring it up to the top. And press return. Right mouse click and hold, go to Control Vertex, and again I'm just trying to find parallel control points, control vertex points. That's at the bottom. I'll hold Shift, select these two guys, square them off. These two control points there. Press W, I'll move this over, press R and kind of scale them down. So that vertex point, I'll move it up. So that control vertex point, I'll move it here. That one goes here. This one at the top. So I get it to look nice from this side view. And I'll go into my perspective. And I think it probably should go in like so. And all the control vertex points, eventually I'll curve them out. I want to deselect that one. And I'll move these guys out like that. And I'll just press undo and I'll do that section later. Let's go to object mode. Click here. And let's take that control vertex point at the top, move it over to the left. Do that. Let's do this. And let's go to object mode. Let's go back to our control vertex, our EP curve. I'll hold C and snap it all the way to the top of this point. I'll go to my front view. I'll press 4 and I'll create the round section of this curve. And I'll bring it right there. Press return and press enter. All right mouse click and hold on that control vertex point. And start to change the shape of this. I'll highlight all of these guys at the bottom. I'll move it to the right. And I'll select the last point here, hold X and snap it to the grid. And I'll select that curve. Select that control vertex point, I'll hold X and snap it to the grid. Now I need to combine all of these together. So I'll select this curve, and that one. We'll go to curve, attach option box. I'll click on blend and attach. There we go. That's our curve. And now I go to my front view. I can select the control vertex points and make sure that these guys are on the same elevation. Move that over. And I'm going to create a circle. So create NURBS primitive circle. I'll hold Shift, select that curve, we'll go to surfaces, extrude option box. I'll change the settings to at path component polygon. Per span number of isoparms, I'll change this to like 3, 3, and click extrude. And there we go. So what I can do now is change the width of that circle, like that. You see? And if I press 5, what I actually want to do is select the curve, press 4, and press 4, and I'm going to change the width of those guys here. I'll select these two, because I actually have the curve selected, not the geometry. I'll press 4, I'll hold shift, and I'll select the curve. I'll take that curve, I'll move it up, and then to the left. Press 5, I'll take this piece of geometry here. Since it's very low poly, I'm actually going to need to select the edges here. Press R, hold J, snap it flat. W, hold X, snap it to the grid. And then I'll select this geometry, go to modify, center pivot. I'll hold W. Actually, I'll just press W, hold D, hold X, snap it to the center of the grid. Control D. I change my scale X to -1. And let's move this guy over to the left a little bit. We're going to hold shift, combine these two. If I press 3 on that geometry, smoother. Now I can select this edge, hold shift, select that one, go to edit mesh, bridge, and increase the divisions. Alright, now we probably want to press 1. Press, select that edge loop and that edge loop, press W, move it down. And I'm pretty sure that that bridge, I want to use a different method. So if I go to edit mesh, bridge option box, I'll turn on smooth path and curve. Apply, there we go. And then right here, I'll double click this edge, hold shift, that edge, and just go to edit mesh, and then let's go back to the bridge. Oops. Edit mesh, bridge option box. Let's reset this, edit, reset, and then bridge. Will it bridge? There we go. So that's your chair. Press 3 on this, and there you go.